Oh, for those of you who tease me about holding up my cans of Zevia, you know I was in D.C. this past weekend. And turns out Zevia can pull women. Yeah, I was in Whole Foods in Northern Virginia. Man, number one, man, I got to give a shout out to my man Ron Wills, my fellow book author and dating advisor Ron Wills. Because I know he lives in what's known as the DMV region, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia. I think he lives in Maryland. I still haven't gotten a chance to connect with him in person, but I'm sure that's going to happen at some point in the near future. But, man, Ron, Brother Wills, man, I know I'm telling you stuff you already know. Man, if y'all, I'm speaking to the brothers now. Well, I'm sure I saw a lot of good-looking Caucasian women there too, and Hispanic women as well. But man, as far as sisters, man, it's some hammers. It's some hammers in the DMV region. Dude, just in one visit to Whole Foods Market, I was there, I think, on a Friday night, man. It was a bunch of hammers in there, man. It was at least like 8 black women in Whole Foods that was like fine in a motherfucker. I'm talking about like wife material type fine. And this one sister, she said, "You drink Zevia too? I love Zevia." First thing I did was look to see if she had a wedding ring on. And she didn't. So I gave her my card. I said, even though I don't live here, you and I need to talk. Now, I'm going to be real. I don't think anything's going to jump off from it because once I told her I didn't live in the area, her enthusiasm seemed to dip a little bit. But yeah, man, she was excited over the fact that I drank Zevia. And she was a good-looking sister, man. She kind of looked like, if I had to give a loose comparison, she kind of looked like Lisa Bonet when she was maybe in her early to mid-30s. Lisa Bonet used to be on the Cosby Show and in the spinoff show A Different World. She kind of looked like, she was, you know, mulatto-looking, biracial looking. She might have been biracial. But she was a bad motherfucker. But anyway, that's the first time I had a woman give me props for drinking Zevia, man. She said she loves Zevia. Now, I know I'm spoiling you guys, because last week I did 2 free videos. Now I'm going to give you your second free video today. But for my Patreon subscribers, I have a Patreon live stream today at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. My first of 2 live streams this month. It will be at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern today. 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern for my Patreon subscribers. $5 and up. $5 and up. Now, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you know I gave you guys a challenge. And I want to see how many of you all... I already had one guy who met the challenge with great results. First time using it. Great results first time using it. So, man, yeah, that's one of the things I want to talk about in my Patreon exclusive live stream. But the Mode 1 challenge. Okay. I'm going to use my usual disingenuous disclaimer that this video should not be too long. It should definitely be under an hour. And hopefully it shouldn't be more than 40, 45 minutes. Again, that's been my average. My average for the last few months has been about 40 to 50 minutes. 40 to 50 minutes has been my average length of a video. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. This is kind of a follow-up to my last video about red pill versus blue pill. Now, if you notice, I talked about red pill versus blue pill, and I actually talked about a third pill called purple pill. Red pill, blue pill, and purple pill, which is derived, Well, two of those three are derived from the movie The Matrix: blue pill and red pill. Purple pill was something I found out about from a book author named Rollo Tomasi, who's the author of The Rational Male. But then in my comment section, I had quite a few people, at least I want to say 4 people, asked me, they said, Alan, you failed to mention the black pill. The black pill. I've heard people in the manosphere talk about the black pill, and you forgot to mention that. So that's why I'm doing this video. What is the black pill? What is the black pill? I think I first heard about the black pill about maybe year and a half ago. Yeah, it was about maybe a year and a half ago when I first heard about the black pill. Here's what the black pill is. Now, most of you who are familiar with the red pill know that there's a stage known as simply the red pill enlightenment stage or the red pill awareness stage. Red pill enlightenment stage or red pill awareness stage. I think I wrote an article that I'll put in the comment section below. And that's simply when you first transition from a blue pill mindset to more of a red pill mindset. In more specific terms, as I explained in my last video, that's when you realize women are not these innocent, wholesome, flawless, strictly monogamous, angelic creatures that you thought they were. And you begin to realize either very quickly or slowly but surely what I always refer to as the true nature of women. The true nature of women. Remember I did a video early last year when I think one of the first videos I explained the true nature of women. I said every species has their nature. Meaning, what I mean by their nature is behavior that's more so dictated and influenced by their genetic code, their biological DNA, rather than their social program. So there's 2 things that influence your behavior as a human being. One is your social programming, or what I also call your cultural conditioning or your social brainwashing. That's what dictates and influences most human beings' behaviors, their social programming. Basically, any behavior you exhibit because you were taught to exhibit it, encouraged to exhibit it, or brainwashed to exhibit it, that's behavior that's the result of your social programming or your cultural conditioning or social brainwashing. Then there's other forms of behavior that we exhibit simply because we have a biological impulse to. Nobody teaches us. The best example would be hunger. Hunger and thirst. Nobody teaches you to be thirsty. Nobody teaches you to be hungry. And if I had to add on one more thing, horny. Horny for sex. Nobody teaches you to be horny for sex. Those things come as a result of your biological impulses. That's in your nature. It is in your nature to become hungry. It is in your nature to become thirsty. It is in your nature to become horny. So those are the 2 main things that influence our behavior, is our social programming / cultural conditioning, and then our biological impulses from our genetic code and our DNA. Every species has a nature. Like a lion has its nature. A hyena has its nature. A spider has its nature. A wasp has its nature. A rattlesnake has its nature. A rabbit has its nature. A zebra has its nature. An elephant has its nature. A dog and a cat have their nature. There's some characteristics that I would say all living, breathing species kind of share. And then there's other things that are unique to that species. And then even within the species, there's stuff that's unique to one gender versus the other. For example, a male chimpanzee is not going to have the exact same nature as a female chimpanzee. A male canine, otherwise known as a dog, is not going to have the exact same nature as a female canine, otherwise known as a bitch. And just like us human beings, there's some things about male nature that is similar to female nature. There's some things we have in common, but then there's other things that are different about female nature. For starters, women have different set of hormones than we do. They menstruate once a month. They have a menstrual cycle once a month. We don't. We have millions and millions of sperm cells in our testicles that swim around in our testicles every day. Millions. Not hundreds, not thousands, millions. Sometimes hundreds of millions. Little spermatozoids swimming around in our balls. Women don't experience that. So there's some things as male human beings share with female human beings, but there's other things that are totally different because they have a different nature than us. So you got to understand it. So anyway, going back to red pill, yeah, that's basically what it means to become red pill enlightened or red pill aware, is when you begin to understand the true nature of women. Now here's what happens, and again, I wrote an article that I'll include in the comment section. What happens with a lot of guys, most guys maybe, is that right after they become red pill aware or red pill enlightened, they go into a stage either for a few days, a few weeks, or some indefinitely. They go into a stage known as red pill rage stage. Red pill rage stage. What is red pill rage? Red pill rage, to put it in easy to understand terms, let's say you're a young man and you grew up thinking again that women were these kind of innocent, wholesome, angelic, flawless, can do no wrong, strictly monogamy-oriented, wife material type women. And to put it in more simple terms, you had pretty much all women on a pedestal. With the exception of maybe street prostitutes, professional call girls, and erotic escorts, those, and maybe some strippers, those women pushed to the side, you had all other women on a pedestal. And then, either from your own experiences or hearing about the experiences of other men via the internet, you said, oh shit. Like, let's say you listen to me. And you said, oh shit. Before I listened to Ellen Reggie Currie, I didn't know that's how women were. I didn't know a woman would do something as scandalous as suck a man's dick while her husband's upstairs preparing dinner. Damn, I never knew women would do no shit like that. I never knew married women would maintain a side dude for a number of days, weeks, months, or even years, but still be telling their husband they in love with him. I never knew women were that fucking scandalous and adulterous. I never knew women treat alpha males one way sexually and beta males a totally different way sexually. I never knew that shit. Are you serious? So instead of just becoming more aware of how women are, because of like the knowledge and wisdom and insight that I share about women as well as some other people, they become angry. They become bitter. They become resentful. They become agitated and frustrated. And they develop an attitude like, man, women ain't nowhere close to how I thought they were. Fucking bitches. Fucking bitches. Thought women were these sweet, innocent, lovable creatures. They ain't nothing but scandalous bitches and closet whores and closet gold diggers. Fucking bitches. Fuck these bitches. Fuck all these bitches. See, when you develop that type of attitude, that type of bitterness, that's what's known as red pill rage. Red pill rage. Now again, some guys only remain in a red pill rage state for a number of days or maybe a few weeks. And then they just transition out of it and they realize that they just got to make some adjustments into their beliefs, their thoughts, their attitudes about women, the way they perceive women, evaluate women, make adjustments in their own behavior towards women, as well as the adjustments in how they allow women to behave towards them. My other laptop is distracting me. And then they go on, which is what I did. That's basically what I did. I didn't really, once I became red pill aware, which was for me happened somewhere between my senior in high school and my second or third year of college, that was probably my number one period where I would say was my red pill awareness stage. For me, was starting with the beginning of my senior in high school all the way until the end of my third year of college. Roughly a 4-year period. That 4-year period between the beginning of my senior in high school and the end of my third year in college, that was my Alan Roger Currie's red pill aware stage. That was my red pill enlightenment stage. And from there, you know what I came up with. My end result of my red pill awareness stage was the formation of Mo 1. The formation of Mo 1. Oh, speaking of the formation of Mo 1, quick side note. I might have a couple of side notes in this video. Quick side note. I noticed in at least 2 of my last 5 videos, I've been having guys who are fanboys or male groupies of another dating coach. I was going to say his name, but I'm not going to say his name. But coming in my comment section, one guy came in my comment section yesterday talking about, Alan, you act like you're the first man on earth to have ever used the direct approach with a woman. You ain't the first guy on planet Earth to use a direct approach, but you try to market yourself like you are. That's a lie. That's a lie. And I already did a video. I'm not going to go and rehash that video. But I did a video. Look for my video. I'll probably put it in the comment section called The Myth That the Game is the Game is the Game. Because see, a lot of people, when they want to copy your shit, which I've had other dating coaches do, their number one excuse will be, well, Alan, the game is the game is the game is the game. No, that's bullshit. That would be like somebody trying to rip off Steve Jobs' Apple computer technology, and then when Steve Jobs criticizes them for it, or maybe even threatens with a lawsuit against them, they say, oh, Steve, computer technology is computer technology is computer technology is computer technology. Computer software is computer software is computer software is computer software. Ain't no difference. That bullshit. Now, was Steve Jobs the first one to create computers? No. Was Bill Gates the first one to create computers? No. But can anyone argue that those two men did not revolutionize and innovate the world of computer technology and computer software? I dare you to. I dare you to. I dare anybody to say that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates are not the 2 most prominent men in the world who revolutionized and innovated the world of computer technology and computer software. They weren't the first guys to create computer technology. They weren't the first guys to create computer software, but they revolutionized it and innovated it. So you can't just copy off of Bill Gates' Windows technology, and then if Bill Gates calls you out on it or threatens you with a lawsuit, you say, well, hey, man, Computer technology is what it is. Computer technology is computer technology is computer technology is computer technology. Computer software is computer software is computer software is computer software. That's bullshit. And see, that's how I feel about motherfuckers who say the game is the game is the game is the game. I wasn't the first motherfucker to use the direct approach with women in the history of life. And I never professed to be the first guy. But I dare anybody to say that I did not revolutionize and innovate the direct approach. Even my fellow dating coach, David X, who's a direct approach man himself, even acknowledged that when we were in London together. He basically told me in so many words, he was like, Alan, with your Mo 1, you innovated the direct approach. Matter of fact, he gave me a high compliment. He pretty much went as far as to say, Alan, in your books, you do a better job of explaining the benefits of the direct approach than I would say I even do in my own book. Because he has at least one ebook called Relentless. And matter of fact, that's a compliment I've gotten from a lot of guys. Like I have a friend I used to work with at NBC. That's what he said about it. He said, Alan, after he read my one, he said, a lot of stuff in your book I more or less already knew. He said, so a lot of it wasn't new game for me. But he said, the beauty of your book, the brilliance of your book is just how well you explain the shit. He said, you know how to break down game in a manner that is so simple and easy to understand, like a middle-class nerd guy who has no experience with women could understand it. He said, that's your brilliance, man. You know how to articulate and break down the game so that it's extra simple and easy to understand. And if I say so myself, I've gotten that compliment from a lot of people. But anyway, going back to this groupie or fanboy, this other dating coach who said, Alan, you tried to act like you the first one to promote the idea of being verbally direct with women. I never said I was the very first person on earth to be verbally direct with women. Obviously, I admit in my own book that I was inspired by a fictional character in a porn movie, John Leslie, character of Jack. So if I was inspired by a fictional character in a 1980 porn movie, how could I have been the first one to use a direct approach when I was inspired by a fictional character using a direct approach with women? Duh. Duh. So I never said I was the very first person on planet Earth to use a direct approach with women. But again, where I give myself credit, I was the one who revolutionized in terms of in book form. I was the first motherfucker in what's now known as the manosphere to revolutionize and innovate the concept of being verbally direct with women, being upfront, specific, and straightforwardly honest with your sexual desires, interests, and intentions with women, and throwing in also the concept of verbal seduction skills and erotic dirty talk skills. Name somebody before me who was emphasizing those things. I invite you to. I challenge you to. Name somebody before me. I ain't talking about Leroy in your mama's basement or John at the local barbershop who might have said some shit. You know, don't tell me about neighborhood legends. Like Tim Hardaway talked about that one time. An NBA basketball player named Tim Hardaway. He talked about that. He said, when you play in the NBA, you're going to have a lot of, he basically said there's a lot of motherfuckers, mainly guys who fall in the category of haters and critics. You know, I always talk about my haters and critics. Well, this former NBA player named Tim Hardaway talked about, he said some of his haters and critics would say stuff like, Tim, yeah, man, you're a good NBA baller, but man, you ain't as good as like, you know, Lil Pookie used to play on 37th in Cleveland, you know, in Chicago, and, you know, you ain't as good as Ray McDonald used to live on the west side of Chicago, man. He had better ball handling skills. And Tim Hardaway was like, man, I don't want to hear about no local legends. I don't want to hear about no neighborhood legends or no local legends. If your shit wasn't on a national or international level, then you ain't worth talking about. And I haven't had that happen a lot, but I've had that happen a few times where people say, yeah, man, Alan, I knew this one guy. He was just as verbally direct as you, if not even slightly more so. Yeah, he used to live in my neighborhood in Houston. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. If he ain't got no book out, I don't give a fuck about it. And that's real talk. If he ain't got no ebook, no paperback, no audiobook, I don't give a fuck if he was as verbally direct as I was. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about no neighborhood legends, no local legends. Show me their book. Show me their ebook. Show me their paperback. That's what you show me. If you want to compare me to somebody else who you feel was given the same advice as me before me. If you want to show me that somebody was given advice that was either exactly like mine or very similar to mine to men before me, then I say, show me their book. Show me their ebook with a copyright on it, official copyright on it. Show me their paperback or hardcover with an official copyright on it. The first copyright of Mode 1 was in 1998. That was when I actually wrote my first Mode 1 manual in 1995, but the first time I wrote my first copyrighted version of Mode 1 was in 1998. So if you can't show me a book that's copywritten before 1998, shut the fuck up. Seriously. Shut the fuck up. Okay, now that we got that out the way, I need a quick Zevia break. Now going back to, so yeah, man, some guys, they can't get out of that red pill stage, man. They can't get out of it. And going to the title of this video, that's essentially what's known as being black pill. That's what's essentially known as being. Now, there's a few more layers to it, a few more nuances to it, but in its basic form, that's what's known as being black pill. Black pill essentially means you're eternally stuck in red pill rage stage. You have gotten to a point where you just you have a profound sense of anger, bitterness, resentment. Burp number 2 or 3. I would say at maximum, when you're black pill, that means you've become a flat out misogynist. At maximum, you've become a flat out misogynist, which is a hater of women. You become a hater of women. You hate women. You literally passionately hate women. At minimum, if you haven't become a full-blown misogynist, at minimum, I would say one of two things. You either A, cannot stop criticizing women. You spend almost every week and every month of your life criticizing all the flaws and weaknesses of women's behavior. Does that sound like anybody on YouTube? That probably sounds like at least a dozen people on YouTube. That's the minimum thing you do. You can't stop criticizing women. You can't stop nitpicking at every single flaw and weakness that women possess. And the second thing, at minimum, you are tempted to become a monk or a borderline monk. Meaning you don't want to interact with them anymore. Even sexually, you don't want to interact with them. That's how much you have become so jaded about women that you don't even want to interact with them anymore. If you don't want to interact with them anymore, period, sexually, that would be a monk. And then you have some guys who are MGTOW, of course. MGTOW guys, they'll still interact with women to at least a certain degree sexually for casual sex, but in terms of marriage or any type of long-term romantic relationship, they have no interest in it anymore. That would make you MGTOW. When you just have no more interest in marriage or any type of long-term romantic monogamous relationship, but you'll indulge in casual sex, at least maybe occasionally or semi-regularly. So that's what happens, man, when you become black pill. You can't get up. But here's the $1 million question I got to ask you guys. And I get credit to a commenter that I've seen in my comment section once or twice before. It's a female YouTube user goes by the name Nika, Neeka, Nika. She asked this simple question, but it was yet profound. It was simple yet profound. She said, who told you all men that us women were these mythical, infallible creatures that are capable of doing no wrong? Who told you that? And why did you believe that shit when they told you that? That makes me bring up one of the #1 books I like to promote other than my own books. This book. You know, if there's one book I'd sing the praises of, arguably, there's at least 2 books I'm always singing the praises of other than my own books. It's this book by Daniel Bergner called What Do Women Want? By Daniel Bergner. Another book would be Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'll tell you another book y'all need to read is Alfie Cohn's book, Punished by Rewards. Alfie Kohn. That's mentioned in my original Mall 1 book. That's a damn good book, man. Particularly for you guys that are into tricking and whining and dining. Oh, y'all need to read that book. Y'all need to read that book. Alfie Kohn, Kohn, Punished by Rewards. Man, that's a good-ass book right there. I'll give you the simple gist of it. What Alfie Kohn argues in his book, Punished by Rewards, is that when you offer people incentives and rewards to do things for you or with you, at some point, they're going to get bored with that first reward, and then they're going to always want higher. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you're a parent of a son or daughter, and you tell your son or daughter to clean their bedroom. And they say, oh, Dad, I don't want to clean my bedroom. Oh, Mom, I don't want to clean my bedroom. And instead of saying, you better clean that bedroom. I told you to clean it, and you better clean it. Instead, you say something like, well, I'll give you a scoop of ice cream if you clean your room. And your son or daughter says, oh, thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. What Alfred Kohn argues is that after a few weeks, your son or daughter are going to be like, no, I ain't clean my room unless I get 2 scoops. Then a few weeks later, they're going to be like, I ain't cleaning my room unless I get 3 scoops. A few weeks later, they're going to be like, I ain't clean my room unless you give me the whole half gallon of ice cream. They're going to keep upping the ante. That's what women do when you try to spoil women with financial incentives and monetary rewards. If you tell a woman, hey, if you give me some pussy, I'll take you to a 5-star restaurant. And the woman says, okay. Then a couple weeks later, she's going to be like, no, you got to take me out to dinner twice before you get the pussy. Then she's going to be like, you got to take me out to dinner 3 times before you give me pussy, and so on and so on. That's a good book. That's a good book. Punished by Rewards. But anyway, going back to this book. Daniel Bergner, one of the things he talks about is that, and you've heard me mention this before in previous videos from last year. He basically says, I'm paraphrasing his words, what he essentially says in so many words is that there's a lot of things men believe about women because they want to believe it about women. Not because it's true, not because it's valid, but because we want to believe certain shit about women. One case in point would be to do with monogamy, something I mentioned in my last video. There's a lot of men who want to believe that women are more monogamy oriented than men are as a group. They want to believe that. Because as Daniel Bergner says, it makes them sleep better at night. They want to believe that a high percentage of women are innocent, wholesome, good girl types. They want to believe that shit. Did y'all see The Dark Knight? I love the whole Dark Knight trilogy. But for those that didn't see it, I'm going to give a little brief minor spoiler. But do you remember the end of The Dark Knight? When it was exposed that the highly revered district attorney Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, was not the hero of Gotham City that everybody thought he was? And Commissioner Gordon was going to basically expose that? And The Dark Knight, Batman, basically says, no. I can't remember his exact dialogue, but essentially he said, no, don't do that to Gotham. He tells Commissioner Gordon, don't. He says, put the blame on me. Make me the bad guy. Make me the bad guy. Because he says in so many words that the citizens of Gotham City ain't going to be able to handle knowing that Harvey Dent wasn't a clean, wholesome, pristine hero that they thought he was. They ain't going to be able to handle that. They ain't going to be able to process that. So he said, put his sins on my shoulders. I'll adopt his sins. Make me out to be the bad guy. But don't do that to Harvey Dent. Because he knew the masses wouldn't be able to handle that. See, that's how a lot of men are with women, man. That's why you have men in red pill rage. Black pill. Black pill. A lot of men can't handle knowing that women essentially have the same flaws and weaknesses that we do as men. They can't handle that. And that's the thing. It ain't like women are significantly more flawed than we are as men. They're neither one. They're not significantly less flawed than us, and they're not significantly more flawed than us. They're about the same. Women have just many flaws and weaknesses in their moral character, integrity, and overall behavior that us men do. In a nutshell, women as a group, they have roughly the same amount of flaws, weaknesses in their moral character, integrity, their decision-making, and their overall behavior that we as men do. The difference is not so much with the women, the difference is with the men. A lot of men in society don't want women to have the same. They don't want women to be dishonest in the same way we are. They don't want women to be unfaithful and adulterous in the same way we are. They don't want women to be promiscuous in the same way we are. I wrote an article about that. I'll probably include that in the comment section. And I got a lot of negative feedback, too, from that article. And that's what I basically said. I wrote an article, one of the top 3 articles that I wrote on the Negro Manosphere that provoked a lot of negative feedback was this article I wrote called The Double Standard of Promiscuity, where I essentially said, you got a lot of men in society who harshly criticize women for being promiscuous, even though they themselves are promiscuous. You talk about hypocrisy. What the fuck is that about? See, you notice, man, I don't really criticize women for being promiscuous. I don't. I never criticize women for being promiscuous. The only time I'm critical of women being promiscuous is when they're giving the public impression that they're not. That's the one time I go after women for being promiscuous, is when they're giving everyone the misleading and public impression that they're anything but promiscuous. But when a woman's promiscuous and she's open about the fact that she's promiscuous, I never criticize women for that, ever. I never criticize women for that. Because I know I'm promiscuous. I would be a hypocrite to criticize women for being promiscuous when I know I'm promiscuous. The only man on this earth that has a right to genuinely, validly criticize women for being promiscuous are men who are virgins, or men who, if they're not virgins, have only engaged in sexual relationships with women that were of a strictly monogamous nature. They've only been involved sexually with women within the context of a long-term, strictly monogamous sexual relationship. Only 2 men that have a legitimate right to criticize women for being promiscuous. Men who are virgins and men who have only engaged in sex with women within the context of a long-term, strictly monogamous relationship. But if you're a man and you've been promiscuous yourself, how the fuck you gonna criticize women for being promiscuous? Seriously, how the fuck you gonna criticize women for being promiscuous? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That's an example of male fuckery. That's a classic example of male fuckery. Oh, another side note. Speaking of fuckery. Now, you know who I gotta address something to real quick. Because this brother keeps lying about me. And I don't mind when people criticize me. To a certain extent, I don't mind when people insult me. But two things I have major beef with. I've talked about this before. When you lie about me, tell half-truths about me, or generally distort my words or put words in my mouth. Those are two pet peeves of mine. Is when you just flat out lie about me, or if you don't flat out lie about me, you tell half-truths or you distort my words and or put words in my mouth. Grim Reaper, I'm talking to you, brother. I'm talking to you straight up, man. I'm talking to you directly. You are a lying motherfucker, man. Believe that shit. You're a lying motherfucker. What have you been lying about me about? I heard an excerpt of a live stream you did, and I've heard you tell this lie at least probably a half a dozen times, if not more. You keep telling your listeners and followers that Alan Roger Currie does not want me talking about black female fuckery on my YouTube channel. That Alan Roger Currie has tried to shut me up or try to persuade me to talk about subject matter other than black female fuckery. Motherfucker, that's a lie. That's a lie. You know that's a fucking lie. That's a lie. You know that's a motherfucking lie. Remember that infamous live stream where you start yelling, stop, stop, stop. Let me find that shit. If it don't take too long. Let me find that shit, motherfucker. I'm going to call your ass out, man. It's your lying fucking ass. That's the reason why we got into that shouting match. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, a little while back, I don't know, about 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago or something, I was on the Grim Reaper's live stream. And actually, believe it or not, we talked for about, let's say, 2 hours. And for about 1 hour and 50 minutes of that 2-hour conversation we had, it was actually cordial, believe it or not. It was actually cordial. We actually were generally getting along. We had some philosophical disagreements with things, but we were generally getting along with each other. But here's when things went left in literally the last roughly 10 minutes of the conversation. And this is how it went left. And this is related to the lie he keeps telling about me. I told the Grim Reaper, I said, hey man, if black female fuckery is your thing, do you. I said, do you. Talk about that shit on your channel. I said, I don't have an issue with what you talk about on your YouTube channel. I said, the issue I have with you is that you seem to want every black man on YouTube to also talk about black female fuckery to the extent and to the degree that you do. I said, that's the issue I have with you. It's not that you talk about black female fuckery on your YouTube channel, but you want other black men to talk about it on their YouTube channel. And I said, I, for one, refuse to do that. I'm not going to emphasize the fuckery of black women on my YouTube channel. And let me see where this. I got it. Hold up. This motherfucker snapped off, man. Is this it?
Stop! Obsidian! That's yours! ARC! Yo! Stop! Yo! Stop! Yo! Yo! Hold it down! Yo! Obsidian!
You see how his reaction? Let me play that one more time. That was his reaction. He said he had that reaction because I was, quote unquote, making excuses for fucked up behavior exhibited by black women. That's not the truth. And if he was an honest person, which he is not, he would play the whole live stream, or at least the latter part of it, that would prove that that wasn't what snapped him off. What snapped him off was again, when I told him, I said, you're free to talk about black female furry to your heart's desire on your YouTube channel. But I said, my issue with you is that you be trying to persuade me to talk about that same shit on my YouTube. I said, I refuse to talk about that shit. I said, that's your shit. That's not my shit. I said, that's your mantra. That's not, matter of fact, if you listen closely, you hear me say that. While he's yelling stop, you hear me say, that's your mantra, motherfucker. That's your mantra. Let me play it one more time.
Stop! Stop! Obsidian! Stop! Obsidian!
That's your mantra, motherfucker!
Yo! Stop! Yo!
Stop!
Yo!
What?
Yo, hold it down!
Did you hear me say it? You heard me say it. I said, that's your mantra, motherfucker. See, that's the thing. Obsidian, he tries to act like he been, I called him by his real name. I usually call him just the Grim Reaper. So I went ahead and called him Obsidian. But that's the Grim Reaper's real shit, and he be lying to his listeners. He be telling his listeners, as recently as I want to say that yesterday or the day before yesterday, he told his listeners, he said, one of the main issues I had with Alan Roger Currie is he, like a lot of guys on YouTube, is always trying to silence me and always trying to prevent me from talking about black female furry. I dare you, Grim Reaper, I'm talking to you direct. I dare you to produce an audio clip where I specifically said, stop talking about black female fuckery on your YouTube channel. I dare you to. I challenge you to. I ain't never told you that shit. I ain't never told any other podcast host what to talk about or what not to talk about on their own YouTube channel. As long as my name ain't being mentioned and my Mole One brand ain't being mentioned, I don't give a fuck what people talk about on their YouTube channel. I really don't. I could give a fuck. I could give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what anybody talks about on their YouTube channel as long as it don't involve my name and my Mole One brand. I don't give a fuck what they talk about. The only time I really pay attention to what other people talk about on their YouTube channels is when it involves my name, or if not my name, it involves something to do with the contents of my books. Either or. Other than that, I don't give a fuck what people talk about on their YouTube channel. So Grim Reaper, quit telling that lie. Quit telling that lie that Alan Roger Currie has tried to persuade you to stop talking about black female fuckery. I don't give a fuck if you talk about black female fuckery from now until the day you get 6 feet under the ground. I don't give a fuck. But what I'm telling you emphatically is that's never going to be my major talking point on my YouTube channel. You can believe that shit ever. Ever. I ain't never going to talk about that stupid shit on my YouTube channel. That's your stupid shit to talk about. That's your shit. That's your shit. That's not my shit. My demographic could give a fuck about the flaws and weaknesses of black women's behavior. They could give a fuck. I'll wrap up by saying this. Speaking of that, here's what my demographic is. Every podcast host, every talk radio host has their own demographic, their desired or designated demographic listening audience. This is my demographic, my main demographic audience is single heterosexual men who are looking to connect with women romantically or for casual sex, looking to connect with women romantically or for casual sex without lying to them, misleading them, manipulating them, and generally bullshitting them, and without spending a significant amount of money on them, i.e. tricking or whining and dining. That's my designated demographic audience. That's what they care about. Is learning about how to connect with women sexually, particularly for casual sex, without lying to women, misleading them, manipulating them, or spending a lot of time with them non-sexually. Because honestly, If you want to learn how to get women in bed while lying to them, misleading them, and manipulating them, and spending a lot of time with them non-sexually, you need to listen to, I'll go ahead and say his name, you need to listen to Alpha Male Strategies. That's his MO. If you're looking to connect with women sexually by lying to them, misleading them, manipulating them, and spending time with them non-sexually, you need to listen to Alpha Male Strategies. You don't need to be listening to Alan Roger Currie. If you want to connect with women sexually through financial negotiation, such as tricking and whining and dining, you need to be listening to my boy Big Mike. Big Mike of Max City Limits. He's the master of power tricking. Master of power tricking. You need to be listening to Big Mike. And along with Brother Maceo and Vector. But when you're looking to have sex with women, and particularly casual sex, non-relationship sex with women, again, without having to resort to lying to them, misleading them, emotionally and psychologically manipulating them, or spending a significant amount of time with them non-sexually, and without engaging in any form of financial negotiation, I'm the motherfucker to listen to. That's my designated male audience. My audience can give a fuck about the flaws and weaknesses of black female behavior. Get it? Got it? Good. Peace.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.